Have you taken a look at what impact that extension could have on permanent residents in Canada who are competing for those same jobs with the students?
You're talking about the work hours?
Yeah.
Well, look, there's labor shortages across the country. The measure that was put into place during COVID was one that was designated to make sure that those shortages were being addressed. It was popular. We had heard legitimately from students that a 20-hour work week is doable and is something that people could actually study at the same time and work 20 hours. Also, employers were looking for people that could potentially commit for over 20 hours and perhaps only work 20. So it was limiting the availability for students out there. It is costly to be a student in Canada. So having that flexibility and dealing with those two competing public policies, I think, was one of the challenges that we're still juggling with. We know that over 80% of international students are factually working over 20 hours, but 40 hours is just untenable. It is not credible that someone, except for rare occasions, could work a full work week and actually study at the same time. I know, having done it myself, and I know lots of people that have worked very hard, but those 40-hour work weeks drain you, and it is not reflective of a proper student experience. But there is flexibility, and we were looking at an hour category in and around 30 hours, but it hasn't been decided yet. So given the financial pressures that current students in Canada would be feeling had we taken a decision to roll it back to 20 hours, it didn't make sense and would probably perhaps put more strain on students that are currently struggling to make ends meet. I don't think students are taking jobs away from other people, given the labor shortages that are happening in Canada. My focus primarily is to make sure that the public policy that we have in place is one that reflects the ability of the student to actually do what they're supposed to be doing, which is study, without bankrupting themselves. So there's a middle ground there that we need to look at. I'm going to look at more data with my team to make sure that something like 30 hours actually makes sense. But currently, with the data that we know, rolling it back to 20 hours would have been on the draconian end of the spectrum.